This is Coach Lee, and we're working on speech anxiety in all its forms. And we are now talking with Ruse from Canada. Say howdy, Ruse.
Howdy.
And Ruse and I met in 2018, and he's from Canada, and he had been stuttering from age 8, very severe, at work on the phone and Skype, and we worked on it for quite a while in 2018, made some progress, but didn't really get it handled. And then let's see, we took about a year off and got back at it again in late 2019. And then we Skyped off and on, and he stopped. Can you tell us what was the thing that you feel helped you the most stop your stuttering?
Question before you mentioned, I forget what actually was, but I don't know if this is a crutch, and perhaps it is, but one of the things that really helped me was if I couldn't say a specific word or a topic, my phone, oh, that's what it was, write it down. That was the biggest thing, that was one of the biggest crutches. I don't know if that falls into a crutch 1 to 12. But
did you say write?
Yes, write down.
Yeah, that's crutch 10. I mean, 10, that's the one, yeah. The ultimate fallback position. And then as you wrote, you attempted to speak it as you wrote it, right?
Right.
And then over time, you did speak it as you wrote it.
Correct, because it was always the initial first word that I got completely stuck in. And I didn't necessarily write it down. I had my phone on me the whole time, so sometimes I would quickly bring the web page on the topic I wanted to talk about. So I would quickly, show someone the screen, and that would just stimulate whatever I wanted to talk about. That would just get the things flowing. So it was almost a substitute for the first couple of words that I couldn't get out.
And that's the thing about it is when you write it, somebody can read it, and you are communicating, and therefore that takes the pressure off the speech, because you don't really have to speak. If they can read it, the world is not going to end if you can't say it. So once you realize that, it becomes easier and easier to say it.
Right.
So,
and I recall something you said a long time ago, that communication is your goal. It's not necessarily to speak. It's not necessarily to talk to someone. You're there to communicate. And there's many ways of communicating. There's body language, there's voice, there's write it down, there's show someone the phone screen, but the communication got across. Maybe it may not be the smoothest way, but ultimately the other person on the other line understood.
In crutch 10, we talk about singing as well, because stutterers, 99% of stutterers can sing without stuttering. And the reason is they hold their tones and they think about the melody, so they're busy doing that, and they're holding their tone, and so they can sing away. Now, they may not like to do that. It may be a bit over the top, whatever, but it beats stuttering. And any number of people that I've coached who have been, some of them quite severe, have been able to beat it by singing. But and writing will work as well, and you proved that. But you did it that way. Now, you also, I remember, at some point you were using crutch 4 a lot. You were holding your sound, and which is that's a kissing cousin of singing. But in my notes I have that we talked about that quite a bit. So, but the bottom line is, the question is, do you feel when you talk now at work, at home, on strangers, whatever, that you think words before you say them, or you don't?
Never, not anymore.
Great.
Perhaps I did years ago, I would say that's something I would definitely do and just get caught up on whatever word I was trying to say and work myself up to an anxious state. But at this point, it's not even a thought that comes to my mind.
Great. So that's second base. And third base is we teach ourselves to enjoy speaking and to even love speaking, even under pressure. Have you gotten there yet?
Oh, definitely. Communication, I think I fell in love with communicating to the person I'm speaking to. That's the part I enjoy. I mean, perhaps not necessarily the mechanics of speaking. I don't know if I necessarily enjoy that, but I do enjoy communicating with people a lot more, I'd say, than several years ago.
That's great. And then home plate. When we score the run, we've used mind training to attack non-speech issues and thus elevated our lives. We're attacking anger and anxiety and all the other human problems. And it doesn't make us perfect, of course, but it makes us better than we would otherwise be. So we're able to say, I converted stuttering into a blessing in my life. Do you think you can say that?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the biggest takeaway, I remember your book, when I was reading a book was, if I can recall this, the area that helped me the most is it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, what happens right now. Whether you screw up on a word or you make a mistake in life or whatever, if you look at the grand picture where it falls in the universe, it's not at all a big deal. So you have a bad moment speaking, or you have a bad moment even writing something and you make a spelling mistake. It's at the end of the day, there's really no need to ponder or dwell on it for any long periods of time. And that's something that that's non-speaking related that really helped me in life was just if a mistake happens, you just move on. You just don't think about it, just move on. And that's something that's really helped me in life. And just
do you still do mind training on a daily basis?
So I don't intentionally do it. But I remember affirmations was something I was doing several years ago. Just to repeat a certain thought over and over again. I find I do that, but it's more automatic and subconscious. So if there's a goal,
you do it during the day to overpower negative thoughts.
Yes, and it's automatic at this point. There's no specific time I set. It's just when I have a moment that I'm not doing anything, I would just think about something that I want to improve, and it just comes automatically.
Well, that you've really done everything that we ask and hope. I guess with the exception of not doing before bed and on a rising 20-minute mind training sessions, which I still try and do, and it's nothing makes us perfect, but we believe that if we don't train our minds, if we don't dictate our thinking, the environment will do it for us, and that's where we get in trouble. That's one reason we got into stuttering. So we still push that. That's the one thing that we would hope that you would consider, making a part of your life. Whether it's autosuggestion, self-talk, or self-hypnosis. Auto self-talk is a lot easier, but it does help. But if you don't feel the need for it, that's great. But there are times in life when things can go wrong, and it's, as you well know, and sometimes a lot worse than others. And the mind training is the thing that keeps us sane when we might otherwise not be. So that's the only thing. Now, have you done made any attempts to join Toastmasters and talk in a place like that to expose yourself to high pressure group talking and that sort of thing?
Um, I haven't done any formal groups like Toastmaster, but what I do right now that's something I was avoided is if I'm at a grocery store and I'm looking for a jar of something. Before I would never in a million years ask someone for help. I would just walk up and down the aisles until I found what I'm looking for. But now, if I'm at the store and I don't want to spend more than a minute finding something, I will go ahead and talk to someone. And again, like it's not formal, but because I do it so often now, I think it's equivalent of like a formal setting. It's not as large, it's not as significant, but those little wins through the day, I find for me they add up quite a bit.
So, I don't know that you've ever come to a SAM meeting. I don't remember. Have you?
I did, yes, I did. I wasn't someone who was speaking, but I was one of the observers in the back. And I think on Saturdays we were having a Saturdays, but my work, I had a work issue where on Saturday mornings I have to go into work every Saturday morning, so I wasn't able to get an update. But I do remember what was going on in those meetings.
In terms of group speaking, you haven't really had occasion to do that at all, or what?
I work remotely, and
You work, you talk very fast.
I work from home. I work remotely.
Okay.
I work from home, and once a week we are required to give a status update to our entire team. So our team is about 6 to 8 people, and we explain what we're going to do that week if we have any problems or issues or concerns. And so we are forced to give basically a 1-minute speech every week. So whether I like it or not, there's a group meeting I have to be in that I'm forced to do group speaking for.
Okay. And how do you feel when you're doing that?
I guess I feel as good as anyone else doing a group.
Okay.
It's not my favorite thing in the world, but we get through it. Yeah. I give a quick update. I don't say, oh, that's actually the one thing you also, I recall in your book, is say less. You don't have to give a whole story. So I've been keeping my sentences short deliberately.
Sure.
And I'm sure people appreciate that because there's people in those meetings that can talk all day. And
that's right.
Maybe people fall asleep or they miss out what they're saying, but I keep my updates concise, maybe 2 or 3 sentences, and that's it. Any questions?
Exactly.
And usually not.
Now, as I recall, you had your own business. Is that true?
Yes. Yes. On Saturday mornings, that's what I actually do. I have 6 employees that I have to manage every Saturday morning. So I have to give a group speech pretty much every Saturday morning. That's why I can't do Saturday mornings. And we basically set the plan for the rest of the week. Hence why it's an important thing I have to attend to.
Okay. All right.
So I guess I'm forced into 2 short group meetings per week where I try to say as little as possible, but try to convey as much as possible. If that makes sense. So, I mean, if we can communicate with a couple of sentences versus blabbing for 5 minutes, I go with the couple of sentences approach. To say as little as possible, and hopefully that means as much as possible.
When we met, I think your wife was pregnant.
Yes, yes.
So your son then would be around 8 now.
2 boys now. So he's 6, and the other one is almost 2.
Okay. One thing that we've learned since we talked to you is we urge people who have young children to read aloud to and with the children. And many of them, I mean, they go online and they say reading for a 6-year-old and reading for a 2-year-old or whatever, and they come up with stuff. And they basically end up teaching the children how to read well before they're in school, and they enjoy reading, and of course their speech is quite good as well. They work on speaking slowly and using, pronunciation, pronouncing words clearly, and being emotive, expressive when you read things, trying to be a bit of an actor. And this also helps with the speech. And many people, before there was television or movies or even vaudeville, people used to read aloud to each other for entertainment. They didn't have any, and it's a wonderful thing, really, and it's fun to do, and everybody gets to participate. And with a little child, you're showing them the tiger and making them say tiger, and you're showing them the word, and they're learning the word, and they're saying that, and you're applauding, and all that sort of thing. And like with a number of children who start stuttering in very young ages, let's see, you started at age 8. Many children who start stuttering start at 3, 4, 5, and so forth. But when they're learning, a lot of times with the parents, when we're working with young children who stutter, we work a lot on the parents speaking slowly and pronouncing their words and not correcting the child. But if the child mispronounces a word, simply use the same word properly pronounced slowly and continue on with the conversation. And we've had a lot of success in the last year or so with children without ever talking to the child, just getting both parents to read to the child and using good speech patterns in their home and trying to speak slower and pronounce better and have more feeling in what they say. And it's fun, but you can do a lot of bonding with those children of yours, 6 and 2, reading to them as a regular program. They'll look forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun for them, and it can be a lot of fun for you too. So, and it's also a good opportunity for you to work on elevating your speech. Even you can always improve your speech. Anyone can. So the more you read aloud with feeling and pronouncing well, the better you speak. And it's a great snowball. What do you think about all that?
Oh, it's great. And actually, for my oldest son, I do read out loud pretty much every night. And the funny thing is, he's the one who tells me to slow down. Like, oh, you read that too fast. I didn't understand. So I actually learn more from him what the right pace of speaking is versus what I'm trying to teach him. So it's there's a mutual benefit there. So he learns to read. I get to learn to speak slowly.
That's fabulous. I love hearing that. I love hearing that. Yeah. You're the only person, and I've coached hundreds now. I've done like around 9,000 sessions since 2016. And hundreds of people that I've worked with have stopped stuttering. And it's been a real treat and a lot of fun. But you're the only one that I can say the victory came more from writing than from anything else. And I'm so glad that it did, because it makes a great example and a great story. You may recall that I have one other. You were one of the most severe stutterers I ever coached. And one of the guys who was in your category and was even worse with me was Usama, the medical doctor from Tunisia. He's now a medical doctor. and he still basically blocks with me. And he did pass his medical boards by writing, and they first weren't going to let him do it. And I wrote an impassioned letter to the board about why he needed to write during his orals, and they allowed him to write, and he passed. And so that was a wonderful thing. Interesting that even though he was able to do that for his medical boards, he's never been willing to, when we do a Skype, he can't really write his responses. So he's always had his worst speech with me. So even though he tells me that he doesn't have the problem at work, I've never heard him speak. So I've never even suggested that he post a Stop Stuttering Story. But I've often felt that, if he would have been willing to write more, it would have expedited his healing process. But in any event, I really appreciate your making yourself available today and being willing to do a SAM talk, because believe it or not, there are a lot of people that I've helped that once they get over stuttering, they won't answer an email from me.
That's too bad.
And that's really sad, because I can't validate their stories. I can't use them to help other people. Whereas with you, I can. Your story has been published, and there's some videos on you that have been helpful, and so it's it helps me help other people, and that's the name of the game. We just came out with a mobile app too. You can download on your phone. It's called Stop Stutter, and
yeah, download it.
We spent a ton of money on it. Oh, incidentally, did you ever review my How to Stop Stuttering and Love?
Oh, yes. I was reviewer number 3, I think. Yeah.
Okay, and then I did one a Cliff Notes version, which is Stop Stuttering Short Course. It's only 86 pages. Did you ever do that one?
I think I did. Yeah, I did that one as well.
Good for you, because that's, all these reviews are helpful. If you would go on your cell phone and download the Stop Stutter app, that you'd enjoy it. I'm sure you would. And you could also give it a rating for us. That would be helpful.
Sure.
You just click I know you'll like it. We put a lot of money in it. I'm still losing. I pay to coach for free.
I know. I know you do. Yeah.
I lose money every month. I'm about $2 million in the hole now, but
wow.
I don't think I'm going to live to get it back. But that's okay. But I would like to see WSSA get on its feet eventually, because when I'm not here to support it, I don't want it to dry up. It's still helping a lot of people. We've got quite a group of coaches now. We call them certified stuttering therapists, and we've got half a dozen of them now that are coaching quite a bit and helping a lot of people. I'm not coaching much anymore. I'm writing a book with a speech language pathologist called SLP's Guide to Helping Stuttering. That's what I'm working on at the moment, and I'm hoping to finish that this year. Well, so that's my latest project. Well, whatever tells the story in as much detail as can be, and the more open it is about the unhappiness of it, the better, because you sure suffered it, and you're not alone. And that's what other people who are suffering it need to hear, that somebody like you can survive it. I mean, with me now, it's been 50 years. It's been a long time, but it's a lot fresher for you. So, any event, if you would let me know when you have something that you think could be used as a Sam talk, and we'll get together and record it, and I'll play it in due course for our troops.
Sure.
I know they would love it, but I want to thank you again for making yourself available. I know you got a lot to do, and
it's the least I can do for you, helping me out all these years.
I'm sorry.
It's the least I can do for you, helping me out for all these years, and keeping tabs. So really appreciate it.
Thank you, mate. Well, listen, you have a great day. Keep up the good work, and keep reading aloud to those kids. Have a lot of fun with them. And I'll look forward to hearing from you, and then we'll talk again when we record your Sam talk.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
All right, Lee. It was great talking to you.
Thanks so much, mate. Take care.
Great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.